Right, let's get started with the black panel. I'm using a size 10 hook here, Osprey standard wet fly hook. First of all, I want to flatten the barb, just squeeze it in the vise a bit. It's done the job. Now I do apologise for my hands because I have a tremor, which unfortunately I've had since birth, and as I've got older it's always got worse. One thing I like to do when I'm starting off is not to waste a load of thread with these ridiculous lengths that people pull off. I'm always referring to remove the tag end. So a millimetre or so down the shank. I'm now going to tie on my cock hackle, and I'll remove the softer fibres and I'll tie it on with the shiny side towards me. Whip off the stem. Now I'm using a bit of poly yarn here for the tail. This isn't fluorescent, and I think it's quite handy at times to have in your fly box, some of them fluorescent tailed and some of them just bright red. And I like a short tail. I virtually use the bend of the hook as a guide and nip off like so. Now at this point I'm going to apply a little bit of varnish. A little bit of Vineyards varnish to the body. This will soak in and not only make the fly more durable, but help prevent rust when it goes back into your box. So the ribbing is oval silver, and I'm lucky in the fact that I've got this spool here that must be at least 60 years old of proper high quality French oval silver. So I'm going right back to where my hackle's tied in, and one of the things I like doing with dub bodies is to go back over the body and make it more secure. This, by the way, this is into view Hen's spectral dubbing. It's got a nice sparkle, easy to apply. Right. When you apply dubbing, you just twist it one way, not rotating back and forth as people often think you're doing. So I'll lock that down now, like so, and now I'll go right back again to where my hackle's tied in. Now this is a point where I differ from a lot of people, is that I like to have my, when I'm using a hackle of this length, I like to have it tied in at the beginning. I don't see the point in sort of adding a load of additional bulk. 2 to 3 turns at the head to get the hackle started. Sometimes you find that when you start going down quickly down the body, the hackle hasn't behaved itself and will the sort of fibres will go off at any angle. Now then, you hold in the hackle tip and then you go over with your silver, and then I put 2 turns in the same place at the base. The reason I do that is that most people just do 1 turn, and so often in fishing that hackle will just move a fraction of a millimetre and then start unravelling. Secure at your head. Use your scissors if you can control them wobbling all over the place. Cut off your ribbon and pull back the fibres, do a few turns to form a small head. I don't see the point in having a great big head. I don't think the fish looks at the fly and thinks the head is part of a natural insect, because you've already got a damn great hook eye there. Those half inches. And that's it for the Zulu. Now this is an excellent top dropper fly, fishing it traditionally in Scottish rivers and lochs. Tying it this way with a light polypropylene underbody, that fly isn't going to sink deep, it's going to skate on the surface. In fact, I always do mine in floatant, and I often have the fish taking the fly at the beginning of the cast when it's lying static on the surface of the water. Now then, for a bit of variation, I'll do the Bibio, which is another really excellent Scottish traditional fly. Strangely, I've found that these flies don't appeal to rainbows as much as they do to brown trout, sea trout. Nip the barb down again, another size 10. And this time I'm going to use, for the hackle, just to give you a bit of added interest, I suppose, I'm using a long saddle hackle. So because of the length of this thing, I'm not going to tie it in first because it just simply gets right in the way. So I'll just prepare that ready for tying in. Pull some of those lower fibres off. Clip it about 2 mil long, and that's ready to use. Now, for a slight change of thread, I've got this 12-0 thread, which I've just dabbed occasionally with a felt tip pen just to break up the monotony of the white colour, but I have a purpose here that I want a lightish colour when I'm putting the red section on the Bibio. Now once again, silver rib. I'll secure that. You can secure it on the top, on the sides, it really doesn't matter a jot. And because I want this fly to be light, I'm going to use this poly yarn again as an underbody. Just pull it along until it's not covering the eye. Cut it short. you can probably appreciate with the painful silences that this is my the first, I hope, of many fly time videos. And with luck I should get better at it as time goes on. Or get worse. It'll be interesting for you to find out which is which. Right, so again, trot up to the top of the hook. Pulling off a little bit of my black dubbing. And I've got some of this Davy Wooten, or Wooten, however you pronounce his name, CFL, I think it's CFL, bright red dubbing. This is the bright red section, which is going to be in the middle of the front of the fly. Pile on a fair bit in the middle, because ideally when you fish with it, after a few minutes that red will fluff up a bit and be a positive sort of sight mark for the fish to strike. Right, now again, right to the top. One of Whiting's genetic hackles. Tie that down within 4 or 5 turns. Now then, position your fingers so the shiniest part of the hackle is going to be facing the eye of the hook. Sometimes when you start winding, it wants to turn in the opposite direction. So if you put your finger in the way, you can more or less bully it into place. Right, that's 2 or 3 at the turn. Don't over hackle the red area because you want that to be seen. Again, when you're at the base, go around here once, twice. Now I'm putting quite a lot of pressure on this because I don't want the thing to fall apart in the first fish. So when you're buying oval tinsel, try and buy French oval tinsel, or if you're lucky and see some on eBay that's been in somebody's kit for donkey's years, you know that the quality is much higher than a lot of the stuff that's available today. Right. And this is virtually done. So I'm planning to do a lot more fly time videos covering all aspects of flies, how to fish them, stuff that I actually use myself, and using quite a lot of traditional materials, so on. So here we have it, the Bibio. Right, thanks for watching, and please subscribe, it'll make an old man happy.